Very good afternoon. Myself, Dr. Ravi Kumar Poluru. Today's topic is management anti-graphs. Previous class we have discussed about the anti-graphs of the process. So anti-graphs of the process, in that we have discussed the anti-graph sets. So anti-graphs is divided into 5 types. In that, the first one is management set. So we know that management set is very important for the anti-graphs or the life cycle. Okay, so in the management set, the main responsibility is first one, vision documentation. Okay, so here the documentation is very important because each and every expert must sit and verify the documentation for the initial project. This documentation is very important or crucial for complete for the project. Next one is, while they're taking the project, the first thing is they need to verify the business use case. So we can have the business case is very important. Here they need to whether they need to take up this project or not. If they're going to consider this project, what is the profit they're going to achieve? So what are the main risk assessment will be happen while they're considering this project? Okay, so mainly they're going to check that what is the risk assessment of this project, and also the software has to be checked. Okay, the software release and release documentation, because when they're going to release any software, they need to understand, the user has to understand what is the software documentation, how it will works, and also what is the updates of the software. Okay, so these are the main management sets having the different responsibility. Okay, now we'll see the management anti-graph, why we require this management anti-graphs. Okay, and what are the main responsibility of this management anti-graphs, how this will be affecting to the project as well as the budget. Okay, now today we are going to discuss in detail about the management anti-graphs. So management sets includes various anti-graphs that capture the intermediate result. It means now we have seen that various anti-graph sets in the management. So there each and every stages it is going to capture the intermediate results, and also checking the what is the information necessary to the document, and also what are the main products or the process have having the documents, and they can have some legacy, whether it can be a product legacy or it can be a process legacy, and also they need to maintain some product and the improvement of the product and how they're going to improvise this process. Okay, the most cases they're going to check that what is the data may be processed, how it can be reviewed, and also the information can be exchanged via electronically. Okay, now in this management anti-graphs we are going to check that the first responsibility is work breakdown structure. We can call as WBS. WBS is very important for the software project management or in the software engineering. We know that the concept called divide and conquer. So in divide and conquer we are going to do, so when you're considering the complex data or a project, these can be subdivided into a modules. Okay, subdivided into a modules. Okay, and after completion of each and every module, again this can be going to club as a unit modules. So by doing like this, so the structure can be breakdown and it will be very easy to calculate the budget and also the cost how, and they're going to handle the various things which will be happening in the project. Work breakdown structure is mainly used for to handling the complex projects. These can be having the models will be divided into a small modules, and each module will be executed after completion of each and every module. They are going to club as a single one. So this will be very easy when they are going to club into a unit uh, module, so that they can have uh, the what is the budget and the cost within the software project. Okay, now we'll see this work breakdown structure is the vehicle for budgeting and collecting the cost. So when you're dividing the complexity of a data into a sub modules, okay, this it is very easy to calculate the budget and also what is the actual cost of each and every module, and it is very easy to monitor and control a project financial performance. So when the complexity of the data can be divided into a smaller groups, it is very easy to handle the financial performance, and also they're going to check that the software project manager must have insight into a project cost, and also they're going to check that how much this can be extended. Okay, the structure of a cost can be accountable is a serious project planning constraint, and also they're going to check that what is the successful project has to be used when they're going to implement this WBS structured improvement. If the WBS structure is not implementing properly, then the cost and the design will be impacted to the software project. Okay, so here the WBS is structured improperly, then it can be drive the evolving the design and product structure in the wrong direction. It means whole project will be happen in a wrong direction, so that finally this project cannot be succeeded in a proper manner. So that's why when you are implementing WBS, you need to check that the structure can be implemented properly or not. If it is a proper structure is properly, then the design part and the calculating the financial is very happening very smoothly. If you are implementing the WBS in a structured improperly, then the total the design and the architecture will be goes in a wrong direction. And also the project manager should not lay out lower level of WBS, and they need to check that. So the low level of the WBS cannot be accountability of this WBS. They need to verify about each and every uh, improved data, and also the stability in the product structured is to be achieved. So the WBS must be implemented in a proper manner, and also the functional breakdown in the WBS is result in a functional decomposition in the software. This is about the general idea about the WBS. Now we are going to discuss about the business case. So we know that in the management set, they going to handle the business case. What is meant by business case? Business case is nothing but it is a use case where each and every experts will sit and they're going to decide whether they need to catch up this project or not. If they're going to handle this project, so what is the risk assessment, and also they're going to verify what is the profit in that particular project. So these are the main informations which they're going to discuss in the business case anti-graphs. Here we know that the business case anti-graphs provides all the information necessary to determine the project is worth investing in or not. Okay, so here they're going to discuss investigate more in depth about the project. Okay, and they're going to check that what are the necessary information which will be happen in this project. Okay, and also they're going to have the expected revenue and expected cost and technical and management plans, and also what is the backup data to demonstrate the risk and realism of the plans. And the next one is they're going to check that what is the contractual procurements, and also the business case may be implemented in a full scale proposal with a multiple volumes. Okay, and this when they're going to consider the small scale endeavor for a commercial product, it can be implemented with a attached spreadsheet. The overall idea of this business case, they need to gain the return on investments. It means they need to get the more profits when they're going to handle the project. The main purpose is to transform the vision into a economic terms. So as I told that the business case is very important. They are going to calculate the, what is the organization going to gain more profit or not, and they are going to check that what is the accurate ROI assessment with the business case here. We'll see here the financial forecast for evolutionary updated with more accurate forecast as the life cycle progress. So in this diagram, we know that it is mainly used for the business case outline. The first one is context. Okay, this management and the team will sit and they're going to verify about in which domain they're going to implement the project and what is the target market and what is the scope of this project. And the next one is technical approach. In the technical approach, they're going to check that what is the feature set achievement plan, and also how much quality they are going to improve for the achievement plans. The next one is engineering trade-offs and the technical risk. So this risk assessment will be very important in the initial stage to identify how much risk will be happen during the project. The next one is management approach. Management is they're going to have a clear idea about what is the schedule and schedule risk assessment and objective measure of a success for this project. The last one is evaluationary appendix. There they're going to check that the financial forecast. How they're going to calculate this financial forecast means first they're going to estimate the cost, and next one is revenue estimate. The last one is the basis of estimate. So based upon that, they're going to identify the financial forecast for the evaluationary. So like this, in the management graphs, they are going to check that what is the impacted of this project, whether they are going to beneficial for this project for the organization or not. And also the ultimate goal is they need to improvise or providing more quality for the each and every phases. Next one is release specifications. So we know that no single company or the organization going to deliver the 100% of the software. It means whatever they're going to release, it is in a basic software going to deliver to the market. After that, the release will be, or we can call as the versions they're going to releases. You know that the basic versions, we know that that is alpha and beta versions. Okay, and also they need to check that what is the specifications of each and every releases. Okay, now here the scope, the plan and objective evaluation criteria for each baseline release are derived from the vision statement, as well as many other sources like make or buy analysis, risk management concerns, architecture considerations, shots in the dark, implementation constraints, and quality thresholds. Initially, they have a clear and vision statement. Based upon the vision statement, this releases will be like software release will be happening, and they need to check the different types of the sources, whether what is the make analysis or the buy analysis, and what is the risk management concerns will be happen, and architecture. So the design considerations must be there, and implementation, whether they need to take the different types of the programming language and they need to set the quality threshold. So whether they need to set the quality as a 70% or 80% or like based upon the constraints, they need to check that the quality threshold should be implemented. And also this can be how to implement it along the process to improvise this life cycle progress and also requirement understanding matures. Okay, in the release specifications, we have a figure. In this figure, the typical release specifications outlines will be there. The first one is iteration content. Okay, so as I told that no single company cannot give the guarantee of the 100% of the quality in the initial releases. So what they will do means iterations will be happen. Iterations in the sense release, alpha release, beta release, like service pack 1, service pack 2, service pack 3 and so on. So like that they are going to have the iterations of the software releases. And also the next one is measurable objectives. So they need to check that what is the evaluation criteria and also the follow through approach. And the next one is demonstration plan. So when they're going to develop the software, the demonstration is very important. And also they need to check that what is the schedule of activities and team responsibility. And the final one is operational scenarios. So here they're going to check that use case demonstration by using the UML. Okay, so here they're going to use the demonstration procedures and traceability to vision and business case. So this is the release specification outline. Okay, so here we have the very two important forms of requirements. The first one is vision statement. So for any organization, the first method or the technique we can call as the vision statement. It means, so what is the user needs or the customer needs? So which captures the contact between the development group and the buyer. And also this information should be evolving but varying slowly across the life cycle. So they need to check that what is the main impact of the information and what is the understandable to the buyer. So whether they need to check the doc format, and also they may include the text, mockups, use cases, spreadsheets, or they can have the different types of the formats. And also the use case model in the vision statement context serves to capture the operational concept in terms of the users or buyer will understand. Okay, so here it will be when they're using the use case model, the vision statement must be clear to capture the information about the user or the buyer can be understandable. And also here we have the various evaluation criteria. The second form of comments contain in release specifications, and they can have the transit snapshots of objectives for a given intermediate lifecycle milestone. So these evaluation criteria have the different types of the specifications, and they need to follow about the different management anti-crafts rather than the requirement sets. And here we can have the vision statements very clearly, and they need to check the various sources such as the make buy analysis, risk management concerns, and architectural constraints, and whether they need to consider the design part, and also what is the implementation constraints and quality thresholds. Okay, so here we have these management oriented requirements must be represented by using the use case. So we know that with the help of the UML, so they can have the clear view of the requirements and the notations and annotations on use case. And also this can be very helpful for clear vision of the structured text representations. Okay, the system requirements mainly how the different types of the concerns such as user of the buyer are captured in the vision statement, and also the lower levels of requirements are driven by the process. So they can have the organized by the iterations rather than the lower level component. So they can have the evaluation criteria by capturing the sets of use cases, and also they need to represent the objectives in a textual manner. And here we can have the low level requirements can evolve as summarized in the following example. So okay, for example, if you are considering we know that we have the four types of phases will be there. So one is inception phase, next one is elaboration phase, and third one is collaboration phase, and the last phase we can call as transition phase. Okay, so here in this example, if you are considering the inception, okay, the inception, when you are considering the 10 to 20 evaluation criteria, we need to capture what are the main issues. Okay, they need to check that the normal issues, and also they need to verify about the critical use cases. Okay, and which will be impacted on the architecture or design part, and also overall business use cases. It means in the initial stage, they need to understand the various criteria about the design part as well as how this will be impacted to the business. The next one is elaboration. In the elaboration, they can consider the 50 evaluation criteria, and they need to have the demonstration about the design part. Okay, and they need to check that what is the critical use cases for the architecture. Okay, and also they can have the critical requirements of the vision statement can be made with the lower risk. It means when they are considering in the elaboration phase, they need to check that whether this architecture or the requirements can be implemented in a proper manner or not, or they need to verify whether it can be have the lower risk when they're designing this architectural critical use cases. Okay, the next one is collaboration. So we know that the collaboration is nothing but the implementation. Okay, or the construction. So in the construction iterations, this you can have the implementation phase. There can be associated with the number of use cases when it is passed, and constitute useful subsets of products can be transited to formal test or to a alpha or beta releases. And next one is the last one is transition iterations. We know that the transition iteration is mainly used for the deployment. Okay, or they can have the testing can be happen in the transition iterations. This is a complete set of use cases and also associated with the evaluation criteria. It means they can have the thousands. So previously for the implementations, they can consider the 100 use cases. So 100 evaluation criteria, so that whether this can be passed or not. And this can be how the different types of the test can be happen there, alpha or the beta releases. So whereas in the transition, they can check that various associated evaluations, more than 1000 evaluation criteria, and they can check that whether it can be accepted test criteria with the deploying versions within the operations or not. Okay, these are the main four phases which will be mainly used for the management sets to evaluate the criteria for the business case. So based upon these iterations, this will be helpful. What is the quality threshold and how this can be impacted to the business case, and also they need to check that what are the critical assessment in the management anti-graphs. So this criteria evaluations is very important to check the risk which will be happen for the management anti-graphs. So this can be how very smoothly, and we know that this evolutionary can be happened, and this is loosely coupled. So we know that loosely coupled and the tightly coupled. So management anti-crafts can be happened loosely coupled to the actual design, means the architecture evaluation criteria. And in the end, we know that 100% traceability is very important for checking the intermediate activities and whether the architecture or the design have the consistency and the completeness. So we need to verify about the consistency and the completeness of the architecture, and we need to verify conventional approach to software development. So here we have the iterations evaluation criteria. Sometimes we can discard once the milestone is completed. It means when you are using the four transitions or phases, we can ignore this evaluation criteria. Okay, once it is completed without any risk, the four phases like inception, elaboration, constructions, and transition. Once it is completed without any risk, and we can discuss this evaluation criteria, and this will be very transit anti-crafts. So this will be very important consistency and the completeness. So that's why this four iterations is very important in the management anti-crafts to improvise the business case and also impacted the quality threshold. Okay, and a better versions is created at each stage. So previously we have discussed that. So not single company cannot guarantee to release the softwares as a 100%. So what they will do means initially they are going to release the software as a basic version. Then later on they're going to implementing or adding some patches. You can call as the some versions can be implemented to improvise this previous software content, and also the conservations of the content and lessons learned in each successive sets of evaluation criteria. So there in the evaluation criteria, we are seeing that in each and every phases they're going to consider the some evaluation criteria based upon that. Is there any risk, so that the risk can be minimized and the better versions of the release can be improved here. The release specifications, static crafts, and their inherent evaluation criteria are more concerned LLA and checking whether the risk is having the highest risk or the lowest risk. If it is the highest risk, they are going to resolve as soon as possible. If it is a low risk, they are going to minimize or they are going to discard that particular risk here. So in the release specifications, they need to check that what is the weightage of the risk. Okay, so if it is a low risk, this can be clearly observed within stipulated time, and if there is highest risk will be there, they are going to resolve as soon as possible, because based upon the evaluation criteria, the release specification has to be implemented as soon as possible. And also this is very important for the management anti-crafts to implement very high impacted. Okay, so this is the reference I have referred for the management anti-craft. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.